We're live.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rooted and Raised, where we were studying the Bible and talking about family and deer hunting and whatever else we got going on
In life. Yep.
in life. We had a pretty awesome weekend this weekend.
Yes.
We dropped the kids off at Mimi and Papaw's and went to a little cabin in Brown County, Indiana.
Yep. Nice, cozy, because it was freezing this weekend, so that worked out good.
Yeah. They had a nice fireplace in the cabin.
And a hot tub.
Yep. And then we went thrifting all weekend. That's what we did during the day.
Yeah, we like to hit up the Goodwills and the, whatever other random secondhand stores we can find.
Which is what you're looking at now.
Yeah.
Is we put together a new little studio for me and Maddie to do this podcast. And if I have guests on, they'll be able to
be a little more comfortable.
Yeah, be more comfortable and just have a nice place to kind of to do these things. So 2026, I really wanted to up production value for this show. It's been a struggle, honestly, starting off here, because I've been like, when you change equipment or use new programs that are better, typically they're a little bit harder to use until you get used to them. So some of the audio I haven't been happy with, but it's just been mistakes I've made on new softwares. So I apologize for the last couple episodes being a little bit but got some cool episodes coming up this coming week. Jace Ellis is coming on the podcast. He is the Iowa State biologist. We're talking about EHD. We're talking about CWD. We're talking about all these really hot topics that deer hunters would like to have some better answers to. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll go tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow's podcast.
That'll be cool. That'll be a good listen, I think.
It's
interesting.
Super good. Yeah. Super good. And we're also going to talk about, Iowa and what makes it special and their kind of attitude towards deer management. Anyway, thanks for being on, everybody, tonight. Yeah, man, I bet we bought this weekend and then thrift shops. We probably spent too much money, but I don't understand why more people don't do that.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
It is fun. It's fun to find stuff and find a deal or find whatever. And one of my things, I guess, kind of, I don't know, something I'm kind of trying to do is switch out some of my, just like my clothing is one thing, but kind of everything, products and stuff like that, just to be less toxic, just a little more, better materials and stuff. So that's what I like to look for at the thrift store, because you can find some, good fabrics and good brands and not pay as much, because I don't want to,
yeah. Well, like
spend a ton of money.
I'm like, during the day at work, I wear like a button-up shirt or just something nice when I'm on calls with customers and stuff. And we went and I needed some new button-ups. I bought like 4 of them, 4 button-ups, a couple pairs of slacks, 2 pairs of dress shoes.
Yeah.
Like for $60 for all that. Like one of them shirts would cost $60.
Yeah. Especially some of the brands that you were able to find. You found a Michael Kors top, which was really nice. So
I didn't even know it was a thing. She just saw it and was like, oh my.
Yeah. So that's fun. And then we also did some not need, but more fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm like a huge nerd in like real life.
In a certain sense.
Yeah. I liked growing up, I liked Pokemon and I liked just kind of nerdy stuff, like a country nerd, I guess. I heard Steve Wilson Jr. call himself that. That's kind of what it was for me. But yeah, we went to this thrift store. We just thought it was a thrift store. Yeah. It looked cool, like online.
Yeah. It was new. It moved.
New location. Yeah. In Columbus, Indiana. But what's it called? We'll shout them out. Not that this is a big audience for them, but Grizzly Pretty, yeah. Grizzly Pretty is what it's called.
Thrift shop. They had a ton of stuff. I mean, yeah, we didn't even get to look at everything.
No, but anyway, they are very passionate vintage toy collectors.
Yeah.
So and we didn't know to go, we didn't go in there, and we went in there, and the front room is your thrift shop, typical stuff, but it's packed. I mean, there's everything you could find is in there.
Yeah.
But in the back room, I snuck. Maddie is way slower, more thorough. Maybe it's probably a better way of saying it.
I look at for different things.
Yeah.
Than you, yeah.
So I'm like, I know what I'm looking for. So I kind of scan everything. And anyway, I go through them pretty fast, but I was just kind of wandering around while she was looking, and I like went back into the back, and it was just full of 80s and 90s toys.
Yeah.
And we got in there, and me and her just started like going down nostalgic road.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just
was
fun.
so
It's
cool.
fun to point out, be like, oh, I had that. I forgot about
Yes.
that. Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
like
cool.
everything from Nintendo stuff to any action figure that you would have played with as a boy or girl was in there.
Little figurines,
every
stuffed
Disney,
animals.
Yep. VHS tapes. That
Yes, they had a ton of
started going
VHS
through
tapes.
those
Yeah.
to look at old movies that we had found
Yeah.
or forgot about. Stuffies, which is what you like brought you into the.
Yeah.
You were like found
Stuffed
some bear, like what are they called? Care Bears and
No, it was
not Care Bears. What are they
no. So I found
Teletubbies.
the Teletubbies. Me and my sisters were into that, and we each had a different Teletubby, and they happened to have the one that I had, and it still you would like press its belly, and it would say something, and it still worked. And but the first one I found was this monkey, just like I don't know,
they have a name.
Monkey, and
what's it called?
It's called they're called. Now I forget. Oh, Puffalump is the brand or the line, maybe Puffalump. So we had a couple different ones, but mine, again, like me and my sisters each had one. And mine was this monkey, and you would shake it and it would make like a noise. Mm-hmm. And I just saw that monkey and just started shaking it without like, just like, I was like, oh, I had this. Like, it was just, I don't know. So it was fun to find that kind of stuff and just get excited.
And then I saw Space Jam.
Really,
like Space Jam action figures. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
I had those action figures, and I love that movie growing up. And then Gargoyles. That's a movie that I had forgotten about in action figures. I had completely left my mind, and I was like, I'm talking about, guys, this is probably a 30 by 30 room that is just packed full of this stuff. They have
cases and cases.
Nice. It's organized by they kind of go in order. What's kind of alike is next to each other. But I saw those gargoyles. I'm like, oh, I forgot about the gargoyles.
Yeah.
So if you're ever like, I don't know, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun to do. So that's what that was our connection thing this weekend. Actually, it was a belated Christmas present to each other. Was a weekend away together, just doing stuff we like and focusing on our marriage and stuff. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of fun.
Yep. We spent, I don't know, probably 2 hours in that little looking around.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. It was fun.
Now we're hooked on that kind of stuff. Then we got back to the hotel and we were like looking at like 90s nostalgic stuff.
Just to
things that we
bring up things that we had forgotten.
About. And there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And not really. Not as much as there is now. There's so much crap now.
Yeah.
But there was just like, maybe a dozen things that we remembered from our childhood.
That's what we got to talking too about. I don't know if it'll be the same like for Huck and Hayes, because like when we were younger, it was like, I don't know, one hot item for maybe like Christmas or whatever, you know what I mean? Like the one toy that everybody had. Whereas now it's kind of like there's so much stuff that they could be into, and also different avenues they can get presented to new things. That it's
kind of a disservice to them, because it's like everything is watered down.
Yeah.
Like I remember like whenever the Super Nintendo came out, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I remember Pokemon, that was a big deal, but there's nothing like, and like everybody exclusively was into that, for the most part, obviously there's kids that weren't, but now it's like you got Minecraft and then all these YouTube channels people are into, and
that are so niche and like,
and then maybe that's like maybe it's a harder way for kids to bond too, a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because you could stumble into 100 different YouTube channels on whatever they're into
any given day. Yeah.
And so they may not even, other kids may not even know what that is.
Yeah. I don't know. So that was our fun weekend. Yeah. We like to try to do a couple of those a year. So we usually do one around like our anniversary, something. It's not the same thing every time, but we take a weekend just for us, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. We go down to Nashville and go to
the shops there too that have a lot of really nice shops there.
Yeah. And then we like to go watch comedy shows.
Yeah, we've done that a few different times.
Go see
that's a lot of fun.
Comedians. At what's that? Zanies is what it's called, I think, down there.
Zanies in Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah.
We go to the Comedy Attic in Bloomington too sometimes, or I've been, I guess, more than you have.
Yeah, I went once with you, and then we've gone to Louisville too. There was a room there we went to once or twice. I can't remember now.
I think I'm going to put James as the hardest book in the Bible to find to get to it.
Yeah.
Took me a while to find it there. But we're in James. If you guys are following along, we are in. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into this?
I guess I was going to just mention projects around the house, but I don't really have. We have yet to do our growing.
It's too dang cold.
Yeah, it's going to be cold, so we probably won't mess with that this week. Even growing lights, like seed starting station, but I think I'm not starting it anyway, so not a huge hurry. I may do just a couple little clean outs and reorganization type things, but other than that, what are you laughing at?
Comment section.
Oh,
I have a banjo. Does not mean I'm a player. Maddie got that. Maddie got this for me.
Yeah.
For
I don't remember.
I don't know either. Maybe my birthday. I think it was my birthday. Anyways, for something. Not that long ago. It was this year.
This year, or 25. Yeah,
25. But, I don't.
He just mentioned he'd like to have a banjo, so he had just played around with it.
I do have a guitar right here, and I play the guitar much better than the banjo, but that's here nor there. You just can't see. You just can't see the guitar hanging next to it. And then Maddie, if you can see up here, she made that with chalk today. So hit the subscribe button. That's what that says. I don't know if you can see that or not, but then we can take some notes up there if we need to, or write down the verse. We were going to write down the chapter we were in, but we forgot to do that.
Yeah, up there kind of ran out of space and time.
Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Got a few comments here. Jax, you must be from Bloomington or Bedford. He says he's just to the next town east of us, listening in. All right. We named this episode. What we name it? Your tongue is a fire. So, chapter 3 is about taming the tongue. Very interesting chapter in James, because I would venture to say your tongue, or how you speak or what you say, is probably like 70% of people's issues.
Yeah.
Like, it matters what you say.
Yeah.
In life in general. Like, I teach Huck that a lot. Like, him, talking about I can't, or
right. And he gets very anxious about things. He's a lot more like me in that way. He overthinks things, and so then he gets in his mind before he even starts it. So just reminding him to say out loud, like, I can do this. I can do hard things. I'm, this isn't, this isn't scary. This isn't, or even if it's scary, it's fine or whatever. So
I think in life, like, you cannot give fear a voice. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot base decisions off of fear, because if you verbally speak your fears to yourself constantly, and, I think this is, this is talking about what you say, but, even in your mind, trying to keep that. I mean, it's hard to do. I'm preaching to the choir, and I struggle with it too.
Oh yeah.
Something I struggle with, which people would never know because of what I'm doing right now, is like public speaking. I hate it. I have to do it for work, and I'm terrified every time I have to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like a issue I have, like, just, it's probably like I probably, I don't know, like a narcissist. Like, I care too much about what people are going to think of me, or,
yeah.
And it's
probably just a confidence thing too.
Yeah, just probably me. And I do fine public speaking. I do fine on these episodes. Like, I get nervous before these sometimes, not necessarily doing this part of it now, but like if I'm having a guest on where I'm going to have to direct the conversation or whatever, if it's live. Now, doing it, just recording it, it's not fine. But anyway,
James 3,
taming the tongue. We're in the NIV, by the way. You could use whatever flavor you guys want to, but that's what we read from here. You want to go ahead and just start reading it, babe, and I'll kind of stop you.
Yep. Not many of you should become teachers, my fellow believers, because you know that we who teach will be judged more strictly. We all stumble in many ways. Anyone who is never at fault in what they say is perfect, able to keep their whole body in check.
All right. Let's stop right there for a second. Just talk
Okay.
about that. What do you got any notes or anything on that?
I don't have any notes, but every time I read it, that first sentence, many of you should become teachers, or not many of you should become teachers. I've always said I could never be a teacher for many reasons, but that is probably one of them, is because I know there's always so many eyes watching, and you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're saying. And
yeah, I think what James is referring to is like your influence as a teacher over people. You know, it's a very, very important job to teach anything. I mean, let alone religion. So that's something you got to think about, like making sure that you don't think you're smarter than what you actually are. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like, saying the right thing, but also staying in, I guess, humble.
Yeah, I think what's they saying? I'm gonna butcher it, but it's something along the lines of, it's best to not say anything, and people wonder if you're an idiot, and instead of speaking up and then them knowing for sure you're an idiot. You know?
Yeah,
that's a real rough quote there, but
something like that.
So, yeah, go ahead, keep going.
When we put bits into the mouths of horses to make them obey us, we can turn the whole animal. Or take ships as an example. Although they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are steered by a very small rudder wherever the pilot wants to go. Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue also is a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell.
Okay.
I have that one blocked off or whatever, and just underline tongue and fire because that's a good visual. That's how I remember, like, that's a big deal. Like, yeah.
Well, and I think, well, you talked about this a little bit last week. I think it was last week or the week before, just about like how kind of harsh you could be, or used to be. You're getting way better now, but you used to be kind of harsh with your words, like to people, not on purpose per se, just I don't know.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? And like that's something like that's an example of your tongue, even if you don't mean to, because like a lot of times we say things that we don't really mean anything by it. It's just like how it's interpreted, right? Yeah. And oftentimes we like blame the other person for it. Like, well, you shouldn't have interpreted it that way. Yeah. And it's like, well, why are we even close to that, to where someone has the opportunity to interpret things negatively towards us?
Yeah.
We have to be conscious of that. Now, there are some times in life that that you're saying things out of love, right? Like, you got a family member that, maybe he's lost his way in some way or another. Like, maybe it's time to sit down and hurt their feelings or a little bit, or that's the wrong way of putting it, but have an awkward conversation where they're going to be uncomfortable. Yeah. That's different, I think.
And also, like with raising kids, you're going to say things that they don't like to hear, but it's,
all the
but time. It's because it's, you're doing it in love, and because that's your job as a parent, to guide and direct them.
Yeah. And I think with, Christianity, it's all about your heart and what you, where you're at with it, if you're saying something just to be critical of someone, or just to get, just because I've got to have my opinion put in there, for no reason at all, that's things we have to watch with our tongue, because it's these visuals that James is given here, like the boat and the prop, I guess it's not called a prop here. I can't remember, the rudder, whatever he calls it. And then the feeding the horse with a cube, the bit. Yeah.
And its mouth to guide the horse.
Yeah. So that's a really good visual about like your mouth, even though it's such a small part of your body, it really is. Most of the sins that we commit comes from that. And then, well, we'll read this.
I think part of that is because it's one thing to have it in your mind, but once it comes out of your mouth, it kind of sets your body in
Mhm.
motion. So it's like
Mhm.
you really want to make sure you're heading in the right direction. If you're
Yeah.
going to say something, it make sure it should have been said,
Mhm.
and that's what the direction you want to go in. So
Yeah. And one thing we talked about on the way home is like cursing.
yes,
I
yeah,
think it's a good time to just talk about that because that's a big one.
yeah. Well, that kind of comes up. Let's read this next
Yeah, go ahead.
section because that brings that up, and then we can talk about that a little bit more if that's okay. All kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and sea creatures are being tamed and have been tamed by mankind, but no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison. With the tongue we praise our Father, our Lord and Father, and with it we curse human beings who have been made in God's likeness. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers and sisters, this should not be. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? My brothers and sisters, can a fig tree bear olives or a grapevine bear figs? Neither can a salt spring produce fresh water.
Okay.
So, two things. One, I just have a note that tongue equals leader. So, just what we were talking about, like,
Tongue equals leader.
yeah, think of your tongue as the leader of like
yeah.
in the direction you want to go.
Yeah, I got what you're
Just
saying.
a good reminder there. But yeah, so the reason we started talking about cursing, I started thinking after last week's podcast and the discussion we kind of had there, I just got to thinking about language, and I'm like, well, okay, cursing, but what does that mean? Because language has changed obviously since the time was written until now, and there's certain words that didn't used to be considered cursing or swearing. So I'm like, so I guess what does that mean? Because obviously, like, what words does that pertain to or whatever?
Yeah.
So that was my question to Josh, his
Yeah.
thoughts on that.
Yeah. So like obviously the Bible does not teach that like a certain sound of words are magically sinful or anything,
No.
like whatever.
But when you hear the word cursing or swearing, you think of all the
we do.
cuss words. Yeah,
We
right
do.
now. That's what I mean
Yeah.
is like,
And it, curse, I think back, especially in this time frame, people cursed more. People like,
oh, like a
yeah, like
not a
that
spell.
kind of thing.
I don't know, like a
But that's also like well, I wrote down like 5 points here or typed out some 5 points because this is a very in our culture, cursing is very normal,
yeah.
especially for men and the men that look like me, um, and if you go into any hunting group or hunting community, you're gonna hear some cursing, and yeah, like I've struggled with it. You've struggled with it before, especially when we were younger. Uh, having kids really cleans you up like fast, and when you
Yeah.
realize it, or it did us for sure.
Yeah.
Not that we've never been the person that would,
But anyway, yeah.
yeah, what I mean. So in Matthew 12:34, it says, "Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks." So Jesus kind of taught us that speech flows from the condition of our heart, right?
Yeah.
So really, whatever we're thinking, in our heart, if we feel the need to use these strong curse words, maybe we have too much hate for a certain thing, or
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and it's not so much about the word, but the intent behind it or the heart behind it.
Yeah, exactly. And then like in Ephesians 4, there's let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up. Okay. So like many cuss words are used to like insult people or demean something. Not even people, just something.
Yeah.
And kind of express some anger or uncontrolled anger, I guess. And so Jesus wants us to speak in ways to build up others, and not bring things down. So even in our culture, whether because these words didn't exist to these people back then, these organization of the letters that we consider cuss words. In our society, they have a certain demeaning meaning,
Yeah. Yeah. And usually excuse me, sorry, the way people are using them, especially against other people, it, like you said, it just brings about a negative feeling, but also just more anger to that person, which is not what we want either. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like more cursing and using that type of language just creates a more like negative environment to that person. And
Yeah.
well, and then it goes right back to your tongue being the leader, that you don't want to spew these negative thoughts and words, because that's where you're leading your mind and your body, and you don't want to go that way.
And also you got to think about too, like if you're setting it, okay, so it's kind of about self-control too. Okay, Galatians is another one I wrote down here. Galatians 5:22 and 23 says the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. We've probably, a lot of people have probably heard that verse before. So really, Christians living, like Jesus wants us to, kind of emphasizes growth, discipline, and not, these kind of flawed behaviors.
But also we were built in his likeness, and that includes compassion, slowness to anger.
Yeah. For sure. And self-control. Like that is one.
Yep.
A lot of people struggle. Everybody struggles.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And in certain manners.
In all aspects of life.
Yeah. And, just because you see someone that's, yeah. And I think that's important too. Like that's an easy sin to point out because it's obvious whenever someone's speaking like that, but it's not, again, it's something that in self-control you can struggle with in all kinds of ways. Like me, I overeat all the time. That's why I look the way I do. If I had some self-control, it wouldn't be that way. Or whatever, you name the 1,000 different things people struggle with in the world. But yeah. I think one thing I wanted to, I guess, put in here is, so cussing is considered sinful when it expresses anger, disrespect, lack of self-control, damages your perception of trying to be more like Jesus, right? So let's say the biblical goal is not clean language alone, but a transformed heart that produces like life-giving speech instead of degrading speech. Yeah. And I think it goes into a little bit more about that in the next section here. Yeah, that's what we're going to lead into. Yeah. Before we do, though, into there, Elizabeth donated $50. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Good on you, Elizabeth.
We appreciate it. That paid for our chairs, babe. Yeah. That's what we paid for these 2 chairs, $50. What were the places called that we
It's the Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity. Elizabeth said, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled."
Yes.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Agreed.
She paid for our chairs. Oh yeah, "Fire on My Tongue" is a Billy Strings song.
I have to look that one up. I don't know that I probably have heard it and just don't know the name of it, but I like Billy Strings.
I do too. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So the next section in the chapter is called 2 Kinds of Wisdom. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let them show it by their good life, by deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from heaven, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice. But the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness. So I have a couple of things.
Yeah, go ahead.
On there. The deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom. To me, that just reminded me of our discussion last week on our, faith with deeds discussion. And just kind of reiterated that, and I liked that. But then it also what you were just talking about, like the words when you're talking coming from your heart, if they're done with humility, those are the kind of words you want to speak. So
Yeah.
I liked that. And I also have a note, just our actions and words reveal our true wisdom and if it is pure or selfish.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the theme of James so far.
Yeah.
I did. It's hard to get in that mindset sometimes, though, you know.
Oh yeah. And I had another question for Josh throughout the week after our podcast last weekend that I was thinking and goes along with the deeds with faith, I guess, that I had seen, and I don't know. So we had talked heavily on faith in Jesus or faith in God also needs to be, I guess, follow through with the things that you do with deeds.
Yeah, actions. Yeah.
Actions. But I had struggled with understanding, like, okay, so what about the example? What about the guy, the man that was crucified alongside Jesus, who did not believe in him, and from my understanding, did not do great deeds up until that time he was on the cross, but then got into heaven just because Jesus said he could or would. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, so obviously at the last moment, he then found faith in Jesus. So there's that, but he didn't have the deeds. So how come he went to heaven? And what Josh said just made that click in my brain a lot better, I guess, than it did last week. So we wanted to share that because maybe other people were thinking similar thoughts. Do you remember what you said? Are you looking it up?
Yeah. So what I put here is what I responded to her was, works are the evidence of faith, not the cause of salvation. So James isn't saying that you have to have good deeds to get into heaven. He's saying it's a product of good faith.
Yeah. So, and that's what I think my mind just kept last week, like going to like a checklist. Like I got to have both.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm doing. That's not what it is. What it is you have the faith, and because you have the faith, kind of the rest should follow if you're doing faith right, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if that's a great way to put it, but I just that he said that and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So
yeah, I think it's an important distinction because you could definitely read into James and think, oh, so you're, because we always get preached to is how do you gain salvation through Jesus alone, and then you could read James and think, oh, so I have to have good deeds too to get into heaven. But that's not really what he's saying. He's saying that if you are truly following Jesus, you will have good deeds.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's a good question because it is confusing.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on wisdom?
I think the world defines wisdom differently now than what we probably how compared to how we probably should define it. Yeah,
that's a good point.
I think I don't even think it's maybe it is the world, but like people that think they are wise are probably not wise. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do.
I think that comes a lot of times. That comes with age. Like you just you realize, like kind of that saying, the older you get, the less you know. You realize the less you know.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what. I mean, from this whole chapter, it started off with talking about teachers. So I mean, it's been another theme of chapter 3 has been wisdom, right? And I think that's probably what James is saying here is like, hey, most of you here, you don't got that much wisdom, and you shouldn't be teachers. And your definition of wisdom is messed up.
Yeah, and the things you're saying aren't coming from the right place.
Yeah,
because your wisdom comes from the wrong.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to skim that last section there again because I didn't take very good notes on it, but And I think, I can't remember where I read it, but it was probably in James. But, the Bible tells us wisdom is not trusting in the world, but trusting in God. That's the Bible's definition of wisdom. So,
yeah, there's probably some like what would it be called? Like literary research, I guess, that could be done on the word wisdom, like yeah, maybe even like a translation too. That would be interesting to look more into.
Right.
And what it is meant. I may have some notes on that from my retreat too. I feel like that was something that was brought up too, but more along the lines like you were talking about, like wisdom, the way we kind of define it now is not the way it is meant in the Bible. And
maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, you always have to put in context who these these books were written to.
Yes.
And that's one thing. I think that's one thing that's important to have yourself a good study Bible.
Yeah.
Sometimes, or you can just Google it too. But like before you.
Yeah, because I didn't even think about that until we started James, and you had mentioned that the first week, and I'm like, I had not even, and that changes your perspective when you're reading it too. Like, oh, that's who it's for. So
like the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Everybody, not everybody, but you probably know that's a story of Jesus's life, right? So you kind of get that. But anytime you're reading just a random book in the Bible, you really got to just find the background so you understand what's going on in life,
Yeah, or if it's a letter to a certain group of people, right, or something. It's
like the Corinthians, and all those are just different ways of.
Does that usually
different people?
Would they usually do that like after, before, or during like some main event that occurred with that group of people, or what would? Have you done any research on that? Like the reasoning behind certain people wrote letters to these groups of people, like what happened to
Paul wrote a lot of them to different groups of people. Just whenever he was called to do, whenever he felt like things were going bad, or whatever. James here going, talking to early Christians.
Yeah.
When things were going bad, that's usually when when they think most of this stuff was written. But I have Henry Moore's Study Bible. It's in the King James, or New King James, I guess. King James can be a little bit daunting when you're first starting to read the Bible, especially. It's a little bit, the language is hard.
Yeah.
Harder. Some people swear by it. That's some people, that's like the only true Bible, which whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of having like this one for me, helped me get more engrossed a little easier
the NIV
into it. Yeah. So I like the idea of maybe for my kind of first go through reading this and then turning to that study Bible just when I do want deeper
exactly
information into something, or maybe if I want to reread a chapter, maybe I will read that one to get a little bit more, different stuff out of it. But
the NIV is what we used like in Lutheran Central. Whenever I was growing up, we used the NIV. So, I mean, it's a little bit easier to understand now. Like, people maybe argue it's not a more like the translation, maybe they think is flawed in some ways. I don't know. I don't think I think as long as you're
the major themes are there
and understanding what is being taught, that's the most important thing, as long as it's in line with what the actual Bible says,
Yeah.
EVS is good. When that Bible up there above my head is a EVS. R.C. Sproul wrote that one. It's a study Bible.
Oh, okay.
So
I found some, because we had started with what was that study Bible that you got me first?
HR, yeah.
So I started with that one, and it has a lot of explanation, like further explanation, which is good, but it was almost overwhelming at first for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I think I kind of like this, and I can make my own notes, and when I have questions, look things up. But I would like to get back to that one. You know what I mean? Later to then, because I think I told you I didn't grow up reading the Bible, like or studying it, or obviously scriptures pulled out and things like that, but not actually reading. So trying to follow some sort of something. And I got to do something that I can commit to too. Just realistically for me.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many resources now. I mean, you can literally just get on the internet and read commentary.
Oh, that actually reminds me of something I was going to say here too. That last section, that 2 kinds of wisdom, I read through that, I'm going to say 2 or 3 times, and then even looked it up because I was like, there's got to be more to this. Like I was overthinking it, where it's like, no, that's what it said. That's what it says. That's why I put like our actions and words reveal our true wisdom and if it's pure or not. Like, and that's what it says. I just was thinking like, am I not thinking something? You know what I mean? I was like looking too deep into it, and I was like, no, I just need.
I guess I don't understand what you mean.
I just
you were
was
thinking
like,
there was like a dozen types of different wisdom.
No, I was just like, okay, so what's it? I don't know. I just read it, and it's very straightforward when you read it. And I was thinking, okay, so what's the meaning behind it? Am I missing some kind of? And it's like, no, it's saying.
Yeah.
The wisdom, like, I don't know. I remember
struggling with that one for a little bit.
Yeah, and then I like kind of looked it up, and it was like, no, that's what it. That's what it means.
Yeah, and that's something that the study Bibles can help with whenever you're stuck somewhere. Just jump down there and read some commentary.
Yeah,
you got to remember too. You got to. I mean, I think R.C. Sproul, Henry Moore Study Bible. Those guys are pretty well established now. Anybody on the internet can give you an opinion on the Bible.
Yeah.
So you got to be aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
Try to make sure your sources are accredited.
But. Yeah. Well, what I think, if I remember right, what I did is I have a Google Pixel, and I do the, I don't know. You take a picture of the text, and it'll AI.
Yeah, generate it
and kind of give you either just like a summary of it and also some like pointers. And so I read through that, but then also it will pull up anything extra with that too. But so that's what I mean. It didn't say anything more profound than what.
Yeah.
I just was like, I don't know. I bring that up to say sometimes it's saying what it needs to say. Like there is no like
hidden secret.
Right. It's not a parable, it's not like, well, just like how they kind of gave examples and like imagery. Like I like to find the imagery in that. I'm like, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's good to remember too sometimes.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Take it in for what it is.
Those AI tools, I'm always like, I don't know. I use them to look up stuff because it's quick,
Yeah.
And it keeps things moving.
Well, I did it more to see if it sparked something new. Like I was like, oh, because that happens sometimes.
I am always worried about like, okay, where did this come from? Or like what,
right.
If when I read it, if it makes clear sense to me, then like, yeah, that's what that means,
Yeah.
Um,
which has happened sometimes. That's why I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But I think it's good too, to just dig in, like get you a study Bible and do some actual study instead of just Google everything and put it on the, trust Chat GPT and whatever Gemini.
Well, maybe that's what I should do for once we're done with James, is get my study Bible out and review it in that one and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can use that one too. The R.C. Sproul one. It's good. That's
what this is doing for me too. This podcast is actually teaching me how to do a Bible study, because I've never done one, and how to study. I mean, I know how to study in school and I was really good at that, but
humble too.
No, facts are facts, dude.
So it's statistically true, huh?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
I'm a C+ man myself.
I always tell people the biggest thing I learned in school was I learned how to learn. So now I can start applying that to my Bible studies and just figuring out what that means, like what resources I can use and what to actually, like what's important. I don't want to say what's important, but what to make notes on. And when I do have questions, what to turn to, who to turn to. I like voicing questions to you because I like it, creating discussion around things, because I also just like to think about things. But I think I enjoy Bible study as a communal thing.
Yeah.
Because even when I'm reading alone and making notes, sometimes I still like to bring things to you that I don't know, it just gets me thinking about other things, and I just like to have discussion about that. And I think that's one of the good things about
doing a Bible study.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something we could talk about for just a little bit here. We got a little bit of time. School with kids. I think Huck and Hayes doing well in school is going to be real important to me.
You think so?
Yeah. I just, if, like you said, if you can learn, as far as, I don't know if I want to say school, but like them being able to read well, them being able to,
Oh yeah.
know how they can learn, like figure out, like, I don't know, even if like, okay, you got this math test tomorrow and you're struggling at school. Okay. You're one of 20 kids in your class. Like they can't, it's hard to specifically go through each individual kid, even though he's in a private school, and that's a little easier to do there. But like he has to figure out, how does he learn, or we have to help him figure out how does he learn best and how can he apply that to life.
Yeah. But I think it's good to remember too, there's going to be things he's just going to be better at, probably because he enjoys them more. You are a lot more like that. You are very smart and very good at learning the things that you want to learn about, the things you like. You go as deep as you can go.
Mhm.
But that was not always math, English, social studies, the things that they have in school.
Pretty much all the subjects.
Yeah.
Math I was pretty naturally good at.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, because it is set, I mean, they have standards that's set pretty, I don't know.
Yeah.
There might be things he doesn't do as well at, and I'm okay with that as long as I know that he did his best and he found the ways that he learns the best, and he did those. Mm-hmm. And then let the rest be, because I didn't know that about you until after school, like till we were adults, and I saw you learn. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know,
good at a few things,
because you were not great in school.
Mm-mm. I didn't try though.
Yeah, you didn't care. That was, I think, the biggest thing, and not about all of school, certain subjects and things like that. Mm-hmm. It was hard for you to learn about them when you just didn't care to learn about them. Yeah. When you care, you can learn everything about
it. I regret some of that. Like, I wish I'd have done better. Like, I wish I'd have just, I mean, just learn. I just wish I would have applied myself a little bit more than I did.
Yeah.
And not that it would have changed the course of my life or anything. I don't know.
Looking back,
anything you're going to do is worth doing well. You got to.
Yeah. And I think that's why I did well, is because I'm the type of person, you throw me into something and I want to do well at it, no matter what it is. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me, it wasn't like about enjoying it, or I don't want to say it wasn't about learning it, because obviously it was. But like I said, the main thing I remember, like looking back, I was probably halfway through college and then was like, you know what, I'm getting the most out of college is I'm learning how to learn. Because like in high school, I kind of was able to get through pretty easy without having to do a whole lot of like extra study and stuff. Yeah. But then I got to college and had to do more of that. And I was like, okay, now this is learning. Like I am learning this stuff. Like it is becoming like.
My aha moment for me it's very ironic. This is an ironic story, but like for me, when I realized like, oh, I should have, like, this was a good feeling, I should have done better in school. We had this class. I have a business management degree.
I know what story
you're talking about. We had this class. It's called business seminar, and you have to write a business paper at the end of it. And like, I did not do good. I was an athlete in college. Like that's what I cared about. Golf, if you want to call it an athlete, I guess.
It is.
And I didn't do great my senior year. I was ready to be done. I did good enough to stay on the golf team, blah, 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 blah. Well, Professor McOwen was his name, came up to me before this paper, I keep saying a paper. We had to write a paper too, and there was a test that came along with it. He's like, hey, I need to talk to you. I'm like, yeah. He goes, man, you have to do good on this test, or I'm going to have a hard time passing you in this, in
class.
This, and he's like, if you don't pass this one, you have to come and take it again
in like the summer or something. Because it was the end.
It'd be the next year.
Oh yeah, because they didn't offer it in the summer. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh crap, that's not good. And he's like, yeah. I said, I'm sorry, I just wanted to let you know. And I'm like, all right. And I applied myself. Like I studied it. I mean, probably like most kids that get good grades do, I did that,
Yeah.
And then I took the test, turned it in. I'm like, okay, we'll see, and nothing ever came of it. And nobody said anything to me. And we were walking at graduation, and Professor McOwen came up to me. He's like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, shoot, what's going on? He goes, "You were the highest grade in the class for that test." I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You're going to be okay. You just need to apply yourself."
Yeah.
I'm like, "All right." And I always got along with him really well.
Yeah.
And he was, I think he was very encouraging to me, he's a big fan of me, I guess. Or he was like, you're going to do good in life.
Yeah.
He's like, just
good to have people like that.
Yeah. He's like, just make sure you apply yourself. And I'm like,
yeah,
got it.
Now
like,
you're
smart.
Kind of what that means.
You just got to be. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, I had to be on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, but man, we did I just did not try sometimes. We had this night class one time. I can't remember what it was about, but me and my buddy Mickey, we were on the golf team together. We had it together, and Mickey was as bad at school as I was. But we had this one night class, and it was only once a week. And it was like at 9:00 at night, 8:00 at night, and it was after golf practice and all this stuff. We just would forget about it. We would just we would come home from golf back to campus, and we'd be like, we have a class tonight, dude. And so there'd be times where we had to read, or we'd have a quiz, and we would just forget about it, And we'd come in there. I remember one time we had a test or quiz, I guess, and it was like a 30 question test, and it was like a multiple choice ABC, and I got 5 out of 30 right. Because we literally didn't do anything. And Mickey got like a 12 out of 30, he still didn't pass it, but he was laughing so hard at me. He's like, dude, statistically speaking, you should be able to guess and get better than that. I'm like, well, I don't know, dude. I just kind of guessed and they were wrong.
Oh, so that is like, like everyone's literal nightmare though, that you still have when you're 30, you have the nightmare of for either forgetting that you have a class, or showing up and forgetting you had a quiz and not studying. And I'm like, that was your real life. I can't imagine. I'm way too anxious.
Oh yeah. But it was one of them stupid classes that were it was.
Yeah, but you paid for it.
And I got a C. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't even have to study, or you just showed up and you would get a C. That's all it was.
Okay.
I mean, on paper, I shouldn't have got a C, but I did. You get at the end of the thing, you're like, oh, she gave me a C.
Yeah.
And the classes were always very, as far as what they mattered toward your GPA was low.
Oh yeah.
But that's just stuff I'm like, why did I not? Like you said,
you're doing it. You're paying for it. You're sitting there
putting
your time, and you might as well
learn. I didn't learn that until when I got that feeling. I got the feeling of, whenever Professor McOwen came up, he's like, you got the best. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, cool. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is. And now you know why I talk about it sometimes.
What do you mean?
You're like, oh, you're humble. No,
happened in second grade too.
No, pride, I guess. I need to.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too prideful.
Second grade happened to me too once. That was the other time. I didn't learn back then though. Yeah. I had a science test that I was struggling in second grade learning.
I couldn't tell you even.
Well, I remember this because my mom and dad sent me to Uncle Mark.
Oh, yeah. You told me this. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a science test.
Yeah.
Which was probably second grade science. Couldn't have been too difficult, but I guess for a second grader. But my Uncle Mark helped me study for it, and I got an A+. All right. But I wish I'd have learned in second grade that I could have, I was actually smart if you just myself.
Yeah.
But it took me until my senior year in college
to
relearn it again.
Yeah.
And a threat from my professor.
Yeah.
Professor McOwen was the CEO of Kodak Film.
Oh, I never knew that. Yeah. I remember you talking about him,
something like that. Something like he was retired. Obviously he was retired.
Oh, okay.
He retired from.
That's cool though.
Kodak, and then became a professor after retired.
That's cool. I don't think I ever knew that. I do remember you talking about him and really enjoying him as your professor in college.
And then our finance professor was a financial advisor, and he had Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, he was that. He was that was the type of clients he helped with.
Oh.
So it was a good school to go to. I wish I'd have taken advantage of it and learned from him.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes
But-
I think it would have been better if I was there and you were.
Yeah, probably.
No, it's all right.
But anyway, okay. Anything else we want to talk about? We've been on for 55 minutes now.
I don't think so.
All right. Do you want to pray or do you want me to? I always pray and I don't.
You do. This is your gig, but
I can pray if you don't want to.
yeah, you do it, and then I can be prep for next time, maybe.
I didn't prep myself for this time or any other ones, but all right, let's say a prayer and we'll get off here.
Okay.
God, thank you for giving us this weekend and bringing us all together tonight to study your word. Please make us watch our tongues and realize that we are representing you for what we say. Please make us aware of that and guide us in that. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Hit the subscribe button like Maddie put up there in her chalk painting. That looks like exactly like my logo. So good job, babe.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.